On this episode of Function Beast, there's one dent in this quarter panel, so all of it must go. We're going to be hacking up a perfectly fine S13 and replacing everything that's beautiful about it with fiberglass.
With ugly fiberglass.
And it's going to hurt me so much that I can't be here when the car is actually getting cut up because it will destroy my soul. But yeah, this is like a pretty nice 240 and we're going to ruin it. Oh look, there's paint chips here, so it's fine to cut it. See, look, cracked. So it's acceptable. It's okay. So like you gotta take the side skirts off. So cut the zip ties off and take the one screw out. And this is how you do it with a screwdriver because we don't have any imperial wrenches. Nobody uses imperial wrenches anymore. My dad is like, oh, why use all the metric blah blah blah, and it's like, cause I'm all metric. Yeah, and it's like, well, I'm bad at fractions, so I got a D- in every math class I've ever taken. So that's why I use all the metric stuff. D- is the lowest you can go without failing. That's how you take a side skirt off. Take the one screw out that you drilled into the car and then cut zip ties. Because zip ties, just do everything with zip ties. Not because you're lazy, but because you're lazy, but also because when you run over a bunch of rumble strips of Pocono, the side skirt will just fall off and won't explode into a jillion pieces.
First, mark your drill holes on the fender using a non-branded silver permanent marker.
Can I get an M4 in a little bit? Like, is that possible? Yeah, it's a box of things.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so, DeWalt here, did something pretty cool because all the drill bits are of course in standard, but if you look on the back here, we have their equivalents. So, you know, a 3/16 is 4.8 mil, that sort of thing. So we should probably go with like a 15/64 6 mil just to give a little extra space so you're not jamming it through the fiberglass. So 15/64, which of course is going to be missing.
Sponsor us, DeWalt.
If I can find a 15/64.
We both conveniently enough only use DeWalt stuff.
That's like kind of true. The only thing I have that's Milwaukee still is the chop saw. The what's it called? Basically I used to have all Milwaukee stuff, and then it all like, you know, over time broke. And then when I went to buy stuff, I just bought DeWalt stuff, except for this. This thing's still around. It just won't die, but like everything else is like DeWalt.
Except, don't look at the Ryobi thing.
that's
okay, so maybe we lied. Almost everything is DeWalt.
Yeah, no.
And all of my tools are DeWalt. Like my impact guns and stuff, they're all DeWalt.
Yeah, that's what mine.
They work real good. Go like Team Yellow.
For me, it's literally just one of those things where the DeWalt stuff just never broke. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's all. I bought it just hasn't broken.
Sponsor us, DeWalt. We're really good at product placement.
Now you can start drilling out your fender.
Just got back from the hardware store where we spent $30 on all these little button head screw guys. deal is these are going into the thread sturts, and we chose like the button head, hex head things because they kind of look like ribbons, so that you may not be able to tell the difference. But it would make the fender removable, so we could take it off, swap out a new one when it gets destroyed, the whole 9 yards, and it would just be a wham bam thank you ma'am type thing.
All right, so the first thing we do here, which you probably can't see because looking at my bag, but now that I have this thing sorted in place, I'm going to mark out where this top corner hole is going to be. Right there. For it to be drilled and thread serted, because these fenders are so flat, they don't really conform to the body. Like literally tape just rips right off, so it's not like that we could just tape it on to mark the holes or something. But they're like, you know, they're pretty flexible. So once we actually have them tied down, it will work. But for now, we're gonna have to do it one at a time probably. So yeah, so my drill bit doesn't walk all over the place. I'll do this, which leaves us a nice little divot there for the drill bit to ride in. And I picked this drill bit completely by eye. I do not know if it's the right size at all, but we'll find out shortly. I also don't know what's underneath this metal here, so I could run into a wiring harness for all I know.
You know, you make me feel real confident.
Well, I don't believe in lying.
Of course it's hot.
So that's a hole.
Don't scratch the paint. Look, a hole.
Now that hole, get this thread sir. I'll see if it fits. It fits pretty close. I might even have to go up a bit size, but we'll see right now. You can't really tell until you have it on the machine. So, what I'm going to do is press this in if I can. Which it looks like it's not. It looks like I have to go up a drill bit size. So, we've gone up a drill bit size, which should be, you know, slightly larger, nothing crazy. There we go. I'm kind of doing that pulse so that it doesn't start flying all over the place, which is what will happen. It'll catch on you and fly. Right now, just like a rivet gun, give me one of those. Is there any hardware around here? So what that will do is, you know, every time you want to take an overfender off and you have rivets, you have to drill out all the rivets. But with this, you just put that in and out. So we added threads to sheet metal. That's basically the deal. And these M5 cap head, or what are they called? Button head, right?
Button heads, yeah.
They're the button head. These ones are stainless, so they don't get all rusty on the outside of your car, which is what will happen if you use the regular ones.
Flawless.
Yeah, so these M5 button head Allen bolts or hex bolts or whatever, they look like rivets from like a foot away. You have to really, really get in there to know that that's not a rivet. Not all the way tight, but it's holding it in place.
And that looks like a rivet? You've never...
Like, you have to get real close to tell that it's not. And like I said, for me, the benefit of it being a removable item is, it'd be hard to outweigh that to me.
At this point, you can begin drilling out the chassis and adding the thread certs. Be very careful with this and make sure you're doing it correctly because there are no do-overs. With every few thread certs that you add, it's important to continuously check fitment of the fender to make sure that it's going on properly.
Again, that pulsing is to keep it from wandering and also keep it cool. You know, gives it a second to for the heat to spread. Because there's all sorts of things that can happen where you know, you put too much heat into the panel and it warps. You know, like you're drilling into it and you actually make a big dent because you're pressing too hard, all that stuff that you don't really want to do any of that. Don't use like some crazy heavy duty drill either.
Don't use like concrete drill.
The cordless DeWalt is the perfect one. Yeah, you really don't need like crazy, those high power drills. Like this is pretty, you know, thin sheet metal. But what I do recommend is getting good bits though, which are also produced by DeWalt.
With all the thread certs installed, you can check final fitment.
So what we're doing now is I'm going to tape off the chassis around the wheel well. That'll make it easier to mark and you know, cut when it comes time to cut it. So yeah, so right now I'm just gonna tape up the general area. Nothing's too specific because we don't actually know where we're cutting yet, but I'm gonna start it somewhere around up here and end it somewhere around there.
Once you're finished taping, use a wheel to mark your cut.
There's gonna be sparks flying all over the place. It's like Orchard Bongo and there will be none. What I was saying was, if you were at home, you're probably not going to cut it that well and that quickly in one shot, but I've done this many times, so I am accustomed to it. So here we go. Alright, so now that the chassis has been cut and you have this little moon-shaped piece, I'm going to remove the tape and I'm going to start grinding the metal, well, I'm going to start grinding the paint off the metal to get like a good weldable surface. So here we go with that. We're going to switch back to a cutting disc. And the reason that we're going to do that is because we're going to cut slots in this inside piece of we're going to cut slots in this inside piece of metal. And that will help to allow us to beat that piece of metal up to meet the outer skin. Probably see it's pretty close to the cut. It didn't take that long to hammer it. These slots help. They're relief cuts is what they are. So it allows the metal to stretch in certain areas. I don't cut them all the way to the sheet metal so I can actually get a decent weld bead on there. So yeah, what I'm going to start doing now is pressing it up, you know, hammering it a little bit more, pressing in places, and then tacking it together.
Once the metal has been welded and grinded, seam sealer must be added to protect the bare metal. What you should do is tape the car up with paper so that you have a surface to spray against so you're not getting it everywhere. It's important to remember to do not only the outside of the fender, but the inside as well. Remove your tape and reinstall the fender for the final time.
You know, I feel like
When I become king of the earth, flathead screw heads are going to be illegal.